Hello and welcome to the best mods for Xbox PC, where we will be looking at some of the best mods to check out each and every single day, or at least that's the aim. There'll be something here for everyone, definitely worth checking out. Use the chapters where you need them. If you do get anything out of this, consider liking, subscribing. It goes a really long way. Appreciate your time. Let's get into it.
Here we have a multitude of different masks, and this is by Zone79. The mod is called Starfield Mask. Now there are 3 different Starfield mask mods, each offering a different way to interact and wear these masks. But as you can see, they offer different colors and they all come with a flashlight, which is really cool. And I'll show you that in a second, but you can see there's quite an excellent range here. The really nice aspect of this mod is that it does give you a lot of flexibility in terms of how you want to use these. But first, we'll just check out the lights. So for instance, even this mask has a cool little light that you can actually use. And with the current configuration I have, these masks act like helmets, and that's the nice thing that Zone79 has done. He's giving us Starfield space masks worn as space helmets. So this is what I've got. This means I won't need to wear a helmet on top. I can just wear these in all the various atmospheres depending on the stats. You also have the option to have the visible while wearing space mask. So you could have a mask on and then you'd have this worn underneath. And finally, you would have invisible while wearing space helmets. So this might be a nice option for some. This would be worn at the same time as a space helmet. However, it would not show. Keep in mind, you only want to pick one of these mods as they will conflict. But those are the different options, so it's a really handy setup. They're incredibly well detailed and really add a refreshing sort of spin on your character look, as you can have a mask now that will act like a helmet, and these are superb. So for instance, you could have the green on as well, and that would give a nice green lit effect, but that pretty much gives you a good coverage of all the different masks. These are amazing masks, definitely won't be disappointed. Just make sure you only download one. So it's a fantastic clothing mod. Let's keep moving. Finding legendary ships could take hours upon hours. Well, now with this mod, there's a huge increase in the chance of encountering the legendary huge ships. And what we want to do in order to find legendary ships is travel to different systems. You'll note that when you travel to a system, you will not see any ship icons. So make sure you travel to that system first, and then you can check for the encounters. Now do note, it's not only going to increase legendary ship appearances, pretty much all encounters that relate to the ship icons that display within each system. So you'll find the activity overall increase significantly. And this is extremely useful for engaging in legendary battles because those things are bloody rare and you can spend hours. So let's just quickly duck in and have a quick look. In this instance, I got the Derelict Privateer. And here we go. We have a legendary encounter in a matter of no time at all. And this one is the Gladiator. So this is the Space's legendary ship. So this will be a fantastic mod to really increase your chances of finding legendary ships, but also some of the more rarer ship encounters that are generated from those icons. So this awesome little mod is increased ship encounters by the Legend Ship Technician. This is a very helpful mod and maybe one you might want to consider pairing with Dark Star's Astrodynamic to really make space a lot more active. It's an awesome mod. Let's keep moving. It's finally arrived. The gang is all here mod. This is a hugely requested mod that allows you to have multiple companions at the same time, including multiple constellation companions, which will depend on a few factors. But you can see here we have Andreja and we have Sarah. Now the neat thing about this mod is that it comes with a very handy mechanism of controlling multiple companions, which you'll find in your inventory under weapons. So weapon, follower control. We're just going to stick that as a quick slot. Then we can hit follower control and it's going to open up this terrific menu where we can play with some of the settings. Now this is particularly interesting because this is more new functionality that wasn't in some of the previous versions, at least that I'm aware of. So essentially we can go into, say, trigger comments, and we can go, who do we want to comment on entering a new location? Let's just say we pick Sarah. That's going to change it to current. Now if we wanted to switch it up, we can just select another companion and hit back to get into this menu. We can also do the same thing for loot. Now since we have these 2 companions, we can select one of them to comment on loot, which will just switch it up. So we'll get Andreja. Then we also have the option drill down and say which one we want to comment on quest. So we could say Sarah in this instance, and here we can just toggle them off and on. So if we just wanted to switch all the comments off so the companions are much more quieter, we can just toggle these all off. There is also this nice option here where we can just randomize it. So it's just going to pretty much scramble all those settings we just went through and give it a bit more refreshing. So a highly refined mechanism to really give you complete control of all those what is sometimes extremely annoying dialogue. You will still get overlaps and they will still be annoying at times. It's not a foolproof system, it still heavily refines that whole experience. Here we have the affinity settings. This is fantastic, simple. I love this. We can just increase affinity, and we can even track the increased affinity as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we can just go increase. Now do keep in mind, this is only going to impact your companions you have currently under your command that are following you. So you can increase it, decrease it. However, we do have to note that the Starfield companion relationship progression is not only controlled by the amount of affinity, but the amount of time you spend with your active companion. These are story gate timers, which is referenced to here, which we can see these affinity required. So just to go through this in a little bit more detail. So for example, these gates, to trigger the first gate, you'd need to get to affinity of say 100, and we would have had to spend at least 30 minutes of real-time minutes with those companions in game. Do note though, you do gain affinity as well, even if your companions aren't active with you, but they are near you. So if they're hanging out with you at the lodge, or if they're on your ship, speaking to them after faction quest lines. However, do note it is possible to get a pretty high affinity without even having to start a dialogue to progress the relationship. This is because the timers do pause when they're not actively following you. I won't go into too much more detail about this, but I will put a link in the description if you want to understand this relationship progression in more detail. There'll be an article you can read up that is in relation to this mod that will give you a much better understanding of how this will work, and that will make more sense of these affinity. But basically, depending on where you're up to, you will have options to then increase and decrease your story gate time. But the key takeaway is you can decrease the time required or increase it. This will speed up the process of romancing them or even make it longer. Here in the infinity settings, I made a mistake. You want to decrease the affinity required to speed up the process of romancing. You want to increase the affinity, that will make it harder. So we'll just decrease it. Here in the likes and love and dislike and hate settings, we basically can control and increase what a like will equal in terms of adding to the affinity score. The same will go for hate and dislikes. So overall, a really intricate and wonderful system of being able to speed up and control affinity, story gate timers, your romance, all within a nice easy console. In the miscellaneous settings, we can change the cooldown for flirting, which is pretty damn neat. So we can go no cooldown for flirting, or we can just have it back to 3 days. So that's pretty nice. If you want to get a lot of flirting dialogue, you can definitely do that. The wants to talk is pretty neat as well. This can be particularly handy if you're sick of getting bugged all the time. If you have multiple companions, probably a good idea to put the wants to talk to a 30-minute cooldown. And this is another very handy setting where you can just get them to give you all the different items automatically without having to go through that dialogue loop all the bloody time. Do note that the wants to talk cooldown can be set to 3 hours and 50 minutes. The shorter one is 30 in-game minutes. So that's fantastic. This is such an incredible mod. Do be mindful of how you manage the affinity and story gates, because you can get bombarded by dialogue. At least initially, it's not too bad, but just something to keep in mind. But at the same time, you may want to do that to increase your affinity and romancing. Now that's just to do with the affinity. Now, if we want to manage the inventory, we can do that by clicking inventory and then clicking on the individual companion we have following us. Say, let's go Sarah. As soon as we exit the terminal, it will bring up her inventory. How unreal is that? That makes things so much easier and quicker. If we head back to the follower control, we can look at all followers and we can command them all at once. Now, this is really handy if you want them to stop following you when you go into certain high-risk areas. You can get them to wait, follow, dismiss, or teleport. And these ones are new. These are fantastic. You can teleport to me and wait, teleport to me and follow, teleport to ship and wait. I mean, this is phenomenal. Particularly these are super helpful in so many different scenarios, giving you complete control. And not only that, it gives you access to also look at your elite companions, and you'll be able to control them here as well. I don't even have them following me, but let's see if I can just get them to teleport to me right now. And bing, bada boom, here they are right now. It's just, this is a my melting mod. Let's go back to the follower control and let's see if we can teleport other constellation companions. Let's go Sam. We'll get him to teleport to me. There's Sam Co right now, and they should all follow me. Now, do note that recruiting Sam Co has resulted in Sarah and Lynn to be deactivated. So there's still other tons of functionality to go through. So for instance, we can go follower control. We're going to look at the constellation companions. Now, in this menu, we can basically select which constellation companions we want to be following us. So say if we want to get Sam to follow us, we'll go to Sam, we'll select teleport to me, and we'll see if that has got him here. So this is him here. Now Sam has been teleported to us. Now is he going to follow us? Yes, he will. But do note there is some limitations on how many constellation companions can follow you. You'll basically just be able to have 2 main constellation companions following you. At least in my testing, you may be able to get more. However, focusing in on this menu, we can select the companion. It's going to give us a really nice breakdown of the affinity, relationship, and anchor level. This is a really cool thing. We can force the next story gate. So we've sort of touched on that before. This is a supreme handy functionality to really speed up your romancing. You can also do some troubleshooting. If your companions aren't following you, you can try the fixed companion stopped following. You can open the inventory from here, teleport, dismiss, wait, basically getting full individual control on all your constellation companions. And the fact that you can just teleport them to you regardless of where they are, and depending on a few different scenarios, means that you can quickly change between your companions at a click of a button. I mean, how crazy is this mod? It is so well thought out and so well constructed and done. It's going to be hard to beat in terms of having this kind of functionality. So that's the constellation companions control. We also have the option to go into the all followers, where we can view the elite crew that we have currently assigned to outpost or our ship, but we would have had to recruit them. And it's basically the same thing. We'll be able to get them to teleport, open their inventory, wait, and dismiss. Currently Lynn is not following me, so I can teleport her to me, even teleport Grace to me, and then we can try teleport to me and follow and see if we can get them all to follow us. Okay, so I've just jumped out, I've teleported them to us, and we have Lynn. Yeah, we have all of them following us except for Samco. But isn't this incredible? Now you can head out as a gang and go to all the different locations and with all your different companions and experience Starfield like never before. This has been one of my favorite mods, as I've always had this on and really enjoyed being able to go to all the different locations with multiple companions. I suggest you get the mods that add starborn powers to your companions, and things get pretty damn crazy with that. Now, do note there are some things to consider when you are using companions and going through missions. When you're doing quests with the companion, you will be locked with that companion and you won't be able to get other companions from Constellation to join you. Do note you can also use all the vanilla dialogue and just walk up to your companion as normal to recruit and unrecruit them just as you normally would. But yeah, a lot in this mod. There is so much functionality and ease of use. It is just so incredible. A huge shout out to Aurelianus who created this mod, and this is the gang is all here. One of the best companion mods you can get, to have pretty much all the different companions and multiple companions following you into the crazy world of Starfield. Absolute must. Let's keep moving. Looking at your star map, we're going to be heading to where it all began, here at Narion, to Vectera, the Argos extracting mining outpost. And as you land, you will notice something in the distance. Here we have the glorious YT 1300 Millennium Falcon 1977 by Electione Star. This is the pre-built version, so no more mucking around, and you'll be able to just grab this and get away quickly. Good thing is about all this new Star Wars mods is that they have been completely reworked, so you do not need any dependent mods. Just to jump in, go, we can just flick this switch here, bing bada boom, and this is added to our ships and it's become our home ship. We can just jump straight into the cockpit and take off in all its glory. Absolutely stunning, beautiful ship. You'll love this. Definitely something to mix it up. Covered this ship a few times, so we won't go too much into it, but you've got excellent combat speed and it just feels amazing, as well as some of the Star Wars sounds from firing some of the weapons. It is a truly epic. One thing that's really neat with this new version is how the missile or rockets sort of fire feels very different. The other thing that is important to be aware of is that you can edit this ship as well and use some of the parts in other ship builds. So you can do that with all the new Star Wars ships that you find on Creations. That also extends to being able to get all the different unique parts and build at any time. So it covers all the bases. Fantastic mod. Let's keep moving. This next mod solves a really irritating problem that you oftenly find, where you're in your ship, you're traveling to different locations, you might be dropping off or kicking out a companion, and every time you go to a different location, the ship power has all been reconfigured or turned off. This mod, which is called Ship Power Allocation Fix, Revert Unwanted Power Changes. This is going to help you set your configuration for your ship and have it not change when you're traveling to different star systems, even when you kick different companions off and on. So the mod is going to memorize players' manual power configuration. So once you set it up manually, you'll be able to travel across the different universes and find that it's not going to be resetting on you. This is a very simple mod, but man, oh man, it has been crazy. This has not been fixed in the game, at least not to my knowledge. Finally, we can just set it and forget it. A truly potent and brilliant mod to really just handle that issue, because it has been extremely frustrating for many of us. Shout out to DJ Legends Prime for putting this mod together. And this is the Ship Power Allocation Fix, which which will revert unwanted power changes. Now you will not have to worry about that bloody annoying change every time you go to different places. Fantastic mod. Let's keep moving. This next mod is pretty damn neat. It lets you build all the little robots in like little mini forms. Kind of reminds me of that movie Small Soldiers. Now you'll have all the different model robots to choose from, as well as all the different action figures. So meaning all these different mannequins that you could then go up to, right? If we escape out of here, we walk up to them and we go E, we can actually get them to put our spacesuit on. So I'll just give it this real quick. We'll just get in nice and close here, but here you go. You can see the little tiny action figure. You'll be able to put your spacesuits on it. That's pretty freaking unreal. As well as having these little tiny action figures, and they're actually animated. So they're going to be looking around and just being able to chill right there. When I say it has every type of robot, it has pretty much has every single robot you could consider. You'll be able to have these as decorations. And as far as the action figures go, there's just so many different poses that you could consider using. Obviously, adding these to a table or a decoration within your outpost will be looking a lot better than this. But this is just to give you an idea. You have a huge range of selections. They're tiny, tiny little things. And the best part is they are animated and they're looking around. They're not static in the sense that they won't be moving from this spot, but otherwise they will be doing just like they would as if they were full size. And as an example, you could sort of put them on display shelves as well, which is really cool. You could have all of them just sitting around. It really does remind you of Small Soldiers, and there you could have a display set up, including the mannequin. So interesting concept. I really like this. A little bit of fun for your decor. Do note they can take damage and they can be repaired. So you can see this guy has been damaged. We can actually go repair and that will set him straight. Now, if we completely take him out, we'll just see what happens if we go into command. So we'll go command. I wonder if we can recruit. Okay, we can't recruit him. That's good. So you will have to repair them in that instance. The other thing to note is that they are making noises, so that may irritate you depending on how you've got it set up. And this is a fantastic mod called Action Figures Plus by Azuzul. Really interesting, nice, fun way to add a bit of spice to your decorator. Let's keep moving. We've been getting some fantastic points of interest mods, and this one is particularly special because it's aiming to try reduce the predictability and the same old point of interest interaction every single time we come across one. The mod is called Point of Interest Variation, No More Duplicates. This is the alpha, only impacting 4 points of interest at this point in time. This is the alpha, so over time this is going to aim to try touch on every point of interest or a great many. Now this mod is done by Platinum Poster, and what it's going to do is it's going to change the loot location where the enemies spawn. There might be more enemies. It could be a little less enemies. It's going to change the location of clutter, where the chests are, basically trying to randomize a lot of the elements within the different points of interest, just to try refresh and make it so it's not so predictable and easy. This could include dead bodies, where those locations are, where slates are. All those little objects and lore related things will be a bit scrambled. At the time of recording, this will only impact a few locations, including the Cryo Lab, which is just renamed to the Abandoned Lab, the Mui Bridge Lab, the Abandoned Mine, and Abandoned Weapon System. These points of interest are impacted by this mod currently, and currently we are at the Cryo Lab, renamed the Abandoned. So what you'll expect from this mod is you won't find everything in the same location, basically. So it's just going to scramble things a bit, just to summarize it at a high level. However, the scope of this project is rather huge. They give an example. They say, let's say if there's 20 variations of each point of interest, then there would be well over 1,000 points of interest that wouldn't feel so repetitive. So this is kind of the first crack at trying to defeat the insane amount of reuse of points of interest and coming across them being exactly the same over and over again. Now, as you may know, the Cryo Lab has some underground sections that you would pass through. Currently, for the points of interest impacted by this mod, as stated previously, they won't have those areas where you would go into a loading screen to enter, say, the lower levels or other areas of it. Mod creator is still figuring that part out and how to randomize that a bit more. So do keep in mind, you will go to try enter them and there'll just be nothing there. You won't be able to get into the inner areas of those points of interest. But by the time you watch this, they may be all set up and it might be well past the alpha stage, so it's worth trying. But this is a really fantastic mod, but it's going to bring a lot of joy and excitement to just experiencing points of interest, not making everything so static in the sense that all the guys are in the same places, all the loot's in the same place. In the description of this mod, the mod author mentions an interesting point that it'd be kind of unreal if Bethesda could make procedurally generated points of interest instead of just having the terrain and the spawning points of the different locations. Imagine if they could procedurally generate points of interest. That would make this game pretty much playable forever, but an interesting point and a really fascinating mod. We'll be keeping our eye on this and we'll probably do an update as we see more and more points added. Stay tuned. Got another awesome mod by Betamax76. This one is called Better Outpost Habs with doors. This is a very interesting mod that changes some of the habs. So we have the double hab in the science configuration, which we can change and operate just like a normal hab. We have a double 4-wall hab. This is really nice. So we'll just jump in and I'll show you what the insides look like, and we'll just jump into say this one. As you can see, you'll have a nice little stairway up, so you can have a look up here and then it can open up to another hab. Now, not only do you get the awesome 2 stories, you also get 2 extra airlock. You get the industrial airlock. So for this industrial airlock, do note it only works with the 4-wall hab due to how it sort of works. So just keep that in mind. You'll only be able to connect that to the 4 walls, but it does look freaking unreal. And the other one is this other airlock door, which is nice. So if you have a look between the standard one and this new one, it's just so if you have a look, there's just a quick, easy access in terms of the stairs going straight in, and that's the traditional one that you're used to. And so the changes to the side tab is just the windows have sort of changed for this one. The other really neat thing is that he's added a few extra door entrances that will snap to these habs, including the 2-story ones. So this is really nice. So you've got quite a few different options here, and these will just snap like airlock. So that's pretty huge, particularly loving these 2-story ones, but you'll have plenty of options. So that's kind of unreal. He's also added some hallways with doors. So this is a bit interesting. So we'll go check these out, but you have the hydroponic door hallway, got 2 variations of that. You'll have the science door and then the military and then the industrial. So pretty much all the different typical doorways, hallways, you'll have these versions with doors. So just for instance, you'll have the doors here, which is pretty unreal. So it just adds another extra layer. So just to give you a better example, let's add a door here. So we'll go industrial, we'll go the hydroponic door hallway, build a couple of those, and we'll add just like the normal hydroponic hallway, just to give you an idea. And then we'll add another industrial hallway with the door. Okay, and that will give you the idea. So you can see here, we have a door to enter, got another door, and then another door. So you get the idea. You can add all the different hallways having little doors. Nice little touch there, something a bit different to mix it up. The other cool thing added is that we can add greenhouse windows to all the regular sides habs. Pretty damn neat. Definitely spices things up, so we can add and remove them. So a ton of changes that you can now mix up with your habs. This is a huge, awesome mod for you base builders, and this is going to give you a lot of flexibility, variety to your habs. I look forward to seeing some awesome outpost builds with these included. Terrific mod. Let's keep moving. We have a simple gameplay change mod called Grav Blink Improved Grav Dash. This is by Universe, and it just makes your grab blink really quick, or your grab dash I should say. This is a nice little game tweak that just changes the grab dash to be much quicker and feel more like a blink. What I would love is to be able to have like a permanent on grab dash where you could just like fly around at that speed in that sort of form, kind of like a superhero, and then disengage it. That would be unreal. But just a very simple game tweak here. Definitely feels much quicker and more realistic to kind of like a grav blink, making it much more potent. A nice little mod there. Let's keep moving. We have another law-friendly mod called RTM's Mark II Spacesuit Blue and White. You can find the suit in the bottom of the lodge next to the Constellation spacesuit, giving you this awesome looking Mark II spacesuit. Now there are 2 versions of this mod on creation. One is blue and one is red. I've just gone for the blue option. It's a very impressive looking, very well detailed, law-friendly spacesuit. Now the stats are a bit higher than the Mark I. Suit can be upgraded just like any other spacesuit and is compatible for male or female. The helmet is a modified Deep Seeker helmet. Overall, this is a superb spacesuit, and note that it has pretty good physical energy and EM resistance, as well as very decent thermal and corrosive. You will need to do some upgrading to the airborne and radiation, but it's terrific. Let's keep moving. Thank you very much for watching. If you get anything out of this, consider liking, subscribing, commenting. Let me know what you think about some of these mods. You can let me know what mods you'd like me to cover, or if there's anything on your mind, just drop it in the comment. Thanks again, and peace.